sweet little honeys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Anastasia. I'm a Toronto-based actor, YouTuber, content creator, social media manager. I'm heavily involved in all aspects of the industry. And if you are returning, welcome. So glad to have you all here. We are going to continue this whole red flag series kind of content that I'm doing. Also, if there's other red flags you want me to talk about on other aspects in the industry, you know what to do. Comment down below, and I'm so excited and happy to have a video about that. If you are joining me for the first time on the red flag series, I've done 2 other videos. I've talked about agents and I've talked about classes and teachers. And in this one specifically, we're going to talk about auditions because let me tell you, there's a lot of red flags that can happen in these auditions, and they can be sometimes very scary as well. So this is a very important topic that we kind of, discuss. Please always remember that this is subjective. This is based on my experiences and what I've seen and what I've been through. Just because what I've been through does not mean that what you have been through. The reason why I do my channel and I bring my communities because I want to create a community of honeys, of people that can relate and understand and hear about the industry and see what it can be. It doesn't mean that what I've been through is going to be the exact same experience that you have. There's probably many more red flags that I will still see in the industry and that I have not seen. And if that's the case, please comment down below. I want to continue creating and building this community of a positive community of the Toronto acting industry. So let's just help each other out. Let's get started about auditions. Primarily, I'm going to be talking about non-union auditions. Not to say that union auditions can't be like red flaggy. It's just with non-union, they're easier to get away with, and they're easier to sometimes it's just sometimes hard to read if a non-union audition is red flag vibe or not. So I'm gonna primarily talk about non-union auditions. The reason why I want to talk about them is because a lot of them you will find like on Facebook posts, eBoss, like the Facebook groups, Mandy.com. Like, I don't think people do this anymore, but like Kijiji or like Craigslist would have auditions. I don't think they happen on there anymore, but that's sort of kind of the vibe. Also social media, like in general, like people reposting on Instagram stories, this and that, whatever. So there's just less credibility and less ways to know if this is a legit audition or not. When it's a union, it comes from your agent like 99% of the time, meaning that your agent is submitting you for the work. Highly doubt that your agent would be submitting you for very something strange stuff. And on top of it, when it's union, it's going through the union. It's going through ACTRA, it's going through SAG-AFTRA. So there is like rules that they have to follow. These are most of the time like legit sets. These are most of the time like, like a full-on job. Well, the non-union can also be free unpaid work. And then this is where things can get really odd in the non-union world, which is why I wanted to talk about the red flags in this industry about that. When you're looking at a post, you have to literally like digest every little thing that this post says. And I'm saying this because this is where you need to make sure that what they're talking about isn't anything weird. So you want to look that the vibe is correct, that there's nothing strange going on there, that this is like our legit post, that the description is okay. Guys, if the location is like not being disclosed, if they're like come to the house to audition, no, like you don't ever go to someone's house to audition. Like this is the number one thing. What is the location? What are they asking you to do? Are they giving you legit information? Are the people on there like legit people? A lot of the times also on these Facebook groups, if people find something is weird, people have no problem commenting and calling people out on it and being like, this sounds a little sketch, like, can we look into this? So people do look out for each other. So it's not like you're looking at this. Again, also, if you find a post or anywhere out on the internet that you're like, I want to audition for this, but I'm not entirely sure. If you have a mentor that you trust, a teacher, if you also do have an agent that you want to talk to this about, you can also send the post to me. I'm always happy to look at them and to kind of take a look to see if this is strange or not. I can kind of give you a second opinion, a second eye, and then you can kind of decide what you want to do. But always ask also your acting friends that you trust to see what the situation. Do your research on the post. You could even research the person of who they're coming from. If you can't find any information about this person, not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, but it's just can be a little bit harder to understand like what goes on and what this is really for. So you just want to do all your research aspects on the actual post. The location is important. Most tapes now, or not tapes, auditions are self-tapes. So you do them at the comfort of your own home. The other part is it could be a Zoom, quote unquote, like live audition, like an in-person kind of. And those are fine because again, you're not going anywhere and you're doing it in the comfort of your home. home. If it's an in-person audition, like when I was auditioning for the Fringe Festival, I went to an actual location. They went and rented out a space to do the audition, which is most likely where they were gonna hold their rehearsals. Like it was on the middle of Spadina and Adelaide, which is a very busy area. I know the building that they were doing the auditions. I've been in that building before for auditions, so it wasn't a weird location. Like you wanna also look at the address. Like is the address someone's house? And if it's not a house, if it's a building, what kind of building is it? Like where does it look like? If you feel safe, I'd always bring somebody to the audition as well and have them wait with you there, have them wait outside or something, just so you're not going there alone. Always make sure you're telling people what the location is. If you still end up wanting to go to the audition, you just want to do all these, you know, safety routes. And now I'm not saying that every single non-union audition you're going to see on a post is sketchy or red flaggy. No, not at all. I'm just saying these things so you can understand that, yes, I have seen posts myself when I was non-union of posts that are just odd and weird, and like it just looks strange. Like you just feel this off feeling, and if you feel off about it, honeys, most likely it is an off post. So don't hide behind that feeling of what you're feeling on what the job posting, what the audition post is. The other thing is you can look at is how they're messaging you. If you're messaging them and the messages are coming very strange, they're not really wanting to give you information, they're not really wanting to answer your questions, if they're kind of just being like, just show up to the audition and we'll tell you everything there, that's just odd, because why would you want not to give someone information that they're asking you prior to the audition? If they're just being also maybe rude in the messaging or unprofessional, like these are all things that you kind of be like, yeah, okay, I don't know if I want to be a part of this project. When you ask questions, they want to be super secretive. There's nothing to be secretive about. Like you're just an actor trying to find information to see whether this aligns with your needs and what you're looking for. You're not gonna go spread it around. And also guys, like this isn't like a Netflix massive series where there's a bunch of NDAs being involved. There's no NDAs being involved in this. So you're not really looking to disclose the information. You're just trying to figure out whether this matches for you. So find out in the messaging part. Like I said, if you can't find a lot of information on the people that are hosting it, on the place where it is, you can always message them, and then from there you can kind of see and gauge how they're messaging you in order to kind of gauge whether there is a red flag situation happening with the audition post. Once you actually go to the audition, this is really important because, for example, I went to the Fringe Festival audition that I did. And when I was having my conversation with Jeff Clark, my mentor, my coach, about the audition, he said that Fringe Festivals, and I do agree with him, sometimes can be a really big hit or miss. Sometimes it can be a really great production, a really great script and show, and really professional people putting it up. And it ends up being something really good, and it goes really far in like the world of theater. But then there's also the other side where it's like kind of like non-really super professional people, and they're just like doing something. They don't really know what's going on. They're all over the place. They're not taking it seriously. They're just being also strange. And I've seen that happen to my friends, and then the show doesn't end up being the caliber that it could be, and then you got yourself involved in something that maybe you're not as proud of, or you're like, okay, this is not what I expected, this is not what it was portrayed to me, and I actually didn't really enjoy myself, like my time doing this. So when you're going to these auditions, and like when I went to the Fringe Festival, I was like, I'm gonna see what the vibe is like. Is this, like, I need to understand that I'm being challenged for what I'm going in for, because Fringe Festival is also free. I'm not getting paid, and I'm also putting in a lot of my own time into something that is free, but I'm doing it for the love of art. But I also want to make sure that it resonates with me and it connects with me, that what I'm doing makes sense to where I'm at in my life, and that I feel that I'm on the same level of being challenged from the people that are putting the Fringe Festival as well. Mind you, the people that were doing it were amazing. Everything was super good. I loved it. I connected with them so well. I really had a nice time. I knocked my socks off that audition. I didn't get booked, but I was really excited and I felt really good. And I'm actually would love to check out the show when it's on in Fringe Festival here in Toronto. I have done Fringe Festival shows in the past myself, that when I walked in and I didn't book it, I actually sat there being like, truly, thank God I didn't get booked on that Fringe show, because it was just so disorganized, so all over the place. And I'm not talking this, it's not sketchy. It was a very normal audition, but it's just, no one knew what was going on. Nobody knew how to run the audition. They were like an hour and a half late. It was all over the place. Like the director was like out to lunch. The stage manager was out to lunch. The writer was out to, like everybody was out to lunch. And then after the show doesn't go as well, and then it kind of makes you wonder like, okay, maybe I did dodge a bullet by not getting booked on it, not getting a part on it, because it just could have been a disastrous of a rehearsal time up there. So a lot of times when you don't get the show, there's a reason for it, right? And so with these kind of stuff, you always want to make sure you're assessing the situation of the audition as well. It's kind of like when I talked about when I was talking about agents and how you are not, like, they're not your boss. Like, it is an interview for you as it is for them as well. You want to make sure that this is the right agent for you. You want to, like, kind of ask the right questions, interview them, see if this is the right, vibe for you, if this is the right connection for you. It's the same thing with these non-union auditions, especially when you're putting yourself out. Does it make sense for you? Does it align? Is the production professional? Like, that's truly what it is? Or is this kind of like a little bit of like a circus show? Like, I understand we all want to be part of a production and build and everything, but if it's a circus show, like, is it in the end of the day going to help you, or is it maybe going to make things worse for you? So you have to kind of assess that and ask for yourself what is important for you, and does it align with you and your needs and what you believe in and what you stand for as for yourself as an actor. Another thing that you can look at when you're in the actual audition room is how that casting is acting with you. Are they being intimidating to you? Because I've been in non-union auditions before for like commercials that I applied myself, where the casting just makes you feel like crap, and the casting like looks at you and makes faces at you, and it's just like being weird and just odd, and it just doesn't make any sense to you, and you're just kind of like, okay, well, that does not make me feel good as an audition. Like, that kind of can already be a seed that you can plant for yourself to be like, well, if this is how they are in the audition, I can only imagine what they're going to be like in the actual like production process. Mind you, the casting may not necessarily be in the production, but if this is where they're like starting off with, most likely this is the energy that's going to bleed into when you're doing the actual production as well, when you're actually going to be on set filming whatever it is that you're auditioning for. Another interesting thing is I like to ask a lot of questions when I'm in these auditions. I like to ask the information that is not necessarily given in the actual job posting, or sorry, I keep saying job posting. It is a job, but in the audition posting. And if they don't want to give you the information, that's also just a little bit odd. Now, obviously, like, like if there's like things that they don't know, being like, oh, we're not entirely sure, like, let's say how many days we're going to be rehearsing, that's fine. But if you're like trying to be like, hey, can I get information of like, how long have you guys been writing this? And they're like, no, that's confidential. Why is it confidential? You're just wondering how long they've been working on this project. Or, I don't know, what your plans with like going on with the production? That's also confidential. Why is these things confidential? You're just trying to, again, understand where they're coming from, what their process is like. You're trying to get to know them. And if they're trying to not tell you anything, it's hard for you to connect and understand what this project is and where it can go and how you can insert yourself into the project as well. I want to say one thing. I've been in non-union auditions before where I feel like, and I'm really trying to say this, and I'm not coming from like trying to offend anyone, but like I do find that sometimes in these non-union auditions, I've had people come off so like, I know everything and I know what's up. I'm a big name star and I'm a big name this. And it's like, calm down. There's no reason for you to have this big ego in the room right now. And there's no reason why this big ego needs to be present in the audition room. It does not help me. It does not help the people around you. And it definitely doesn't help you. So I have like walked out of auditions being like, I hope to God I don't get that part. And if I do, I'm saying no, because the ego that is coming out from the other side is not something I would like to be a part of. And quite frankly, the ego did not make me feel any good about myself and about my audition. You should never feel this weirdness and ego-ness and kind of almost like I know better than you. Like you're all there to create the work. You're all there to create the art. You're all there to collaborate together and make whatever project it is. So at the end of the day, you should never feel like you are less than the people in front of you who are just trying to choose the best person for the part that you're auditioning for. Like I said, honeys, always remember to read the fine print in these auditions and make sure that, it's always safe and it makes sense to you and it connects with you. I know we all want to build our portfolio and build our, package and everything, but sometimes if the audition just doesn't align with you, then don't do it. You're not going to miss out. And trust me, you're going to thank yourself later that you did not do that audition and you did not get that part. So many things that I've dodged being like that. I heard how much of a production of a disaster that was. And I'm like, I'm so happy that my mental health didn't have to go through that and that I was spared. And I'm like, yes, universe, thank you for that. The universe will always always have your back. They'll always know what is best for you, and you just have to remember that and go with the flow. Like I said, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to comment down below. You always know where to find me. You can DM me, honeys, on TikTok or on Instagram. And what are some red flags that I missed when I'm talking about auditions, but you have seen? Comment down below. I'd love to hear them. Okay, honeys, it looks like the sun is setting, so it's a little bit chilly today, but love you, honeys. I am off to go have some dinner, and I'm gonna see you all next Friday. Bye, honeys.